So the 1983 is the flood of record for the Santa Cruz River.
I guess we should have known better, but I'd been there before. I didn't know what we were getting ourselves into.
Usually it's very intense. Flooding's going to happen during monsoon. It happens within a short period of time typically, and the amount of water is large.
Well, I got struck by lightning in 2001. I do take actions to mitigate risk. I have a tripod, I have a camera. I can put that camera, on the tripod, and I can still find shelter in a car or a home or whatever it is.
Initially, I did not know that strike was the one that started the fire. It wasn't until I went back and started comparing photos.
We'll just take what Mother Nature throws at us. We always do.
Monsoon 2023. I'm meteorologist Cuyler.
And I'm meteorologist April Madison. We are in an El Niño year.
We'll see what's in store for us this year. We've got your official monsoon forecast.
How to prepare yourself and your family for the season.
I am a senior scientist working on our applied meteorology group. The Lightning Center was in Tucson all the way up until 2019 when the network operations were moved up to our Boulder office here. Before then, there was a legacy of over 30 years of operating a national lightning network, and that was really centralized in that Tucson office.
All right, so yeah, lightning detection is your specialty. And how long has good, reliable lightning detection been around?
The story of lightning detection really starts in Arizona, starting in the 1970s. There were researchers at the University of Arizona that were looking at lightning physics and properties of lightning discharges and using that information to design technology to reliably detect and locate it. And then that work continued in the 80s and 90s, really fueled by the emergence of cost-effective microprocessors and electronics, and really the emergence of GPS technology that allowed for the precise location accuracy that we see now. You see an evolution of detection following that, starting from the early 80s, but then really in its current form or something like it in the 90s.
Basically, how is lightning detected?
So lightning is a huge electrical discharge. It has a high electrical current. And anytime you have a high electrical current, you generate a radio pulse. It's an electromagnetic wave. And what we do is we measure the precise time at which that radio wave arrives at multiple sensors that are strategically distributed throughout the US. And using that unique time signature, we can then pinpoint where the lightning hit the ground. And actually we can do it really well. We pinpoint it to within about a football field anywhere in the US. So we detect lightning everywhere in the world to within roughly a kilometer. It's about the span of the supports in the Golden Gate Bridge. So that's really cool. So Arizona sees around 5 to 6 million lightning strikes per year. That's somewhat in the middle of the pack in terms of the 50 states in the US, but it's really concentrated in the 3 months around the monsoon season, July, August, and September, when you have those favorable conditions for lightning.
Who takes the cake for the most lightning strikes in the US?
It depends on how you count it. If it's just total number, it's Texas. It's a big area. A lot of thunderstorms. But if you were looking at the frequency of lightning or the density of lightning, then Florida is the hotspot. 30, 40 years ago, we couldn't track lightning in real time. It was sort of haphazardly observed. And now we can really pinpoint every thunderstorm on the planet with incredible precision and accuracy. And it's exciting to see how this information is used for research, and of course to really improve safety and allow people to seek shelter when a thunderstorm is close by.
We opened this store 10 years ago. We have our other store on Grant Road that's been open since '82. We've been in business since '78, and I've lived in Tucson since '72.
Wow, so you have been here. Well, you've seen some monsoon, I guess.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the first monsoon I saw, I was working up in the San Carlos Reservation, and I came down to Tucson to visit, and I came down during the monsoon. And back then, the sewer system wasn't all that good, and Speedway flooded. It must have flooded about 1.5 feet high, and it was just amazing.
And that was back in 72?
Back in 72.
So the 1983 is the flood of record for the Santa Cruz River. It was the most active year during that monsoon timeframe. What we saw was a lot of property damage related to that. There was millions of dollars worth of property. The lateral migration of the wash undercut those structures and eroded it.
When we get these big monsoon storms or we get big winter rains, kind of like we had in this past winter, we had water flowing in the Santa Cruz River where we're standing right now for months and months and months. When you look up at the Riito River, just to the north of us, they had 107 days of flow in the Riito this year. And in past years, even when we had monsoons, good monsoons, it was 60, 70, maybe 80 days.
One day, my wife and I were flying from Boston to Tucson, and as we came through Tucson, the river, Riito River, we came during a rainstorm, and the Riito River, you could see a wall of water actually rushing down the Riito. It was a pretty spectacular sight.
And you got to see that?
We got to see that from the plane, yeah. Wow. Just this wall of water.
Tucson is named for the base of the Black Mountain. That's Sentinel Peak that's right over our shoulder. And we're pretty much at the base of Sentinel Peak. So that's why they named that river the Heritage Project, or that stretch of the river the Heritage Project, because it's recognizing the heritage of Tucson. It is the Santa Cruz River from time immemorial, when the Hohokam and the Sabaipuri people were here, that the Santa Cruz River would regularly top its banks and deposit silt, nutrients into the floodplain that allowed for the agriculture that allowed Tucson to get established. We've now had 4,000 years of continuous agriculture in Tucson as a result of the benefits brought in by the Santa Cruz River.
The structure of the Santa Cruz River isn't the only thing that's changed over the years. The laws as to how close you can build to it have also changed, and for good reason. So someone can essentially still build next to it. There's just certain laws as to how close and what they have to do. So what, like this, caterpillar behind you or whatever, what steps do they have to take if they do want to build along?
Where there is bank protection, again, it reduces that lateral migration of the wash channel. So it's essentially being contained like a bathtub would contain that water. And so that provides the opportunity for businesses or private residences, commercial properties, what have you, to build along those river corridors. Where there's not that bank protection, Pima County Flood Control has established what's called safe setbacks from those erosion hazard areas. So depending on the size of the wash, you may have to be 25 feet away from it. But for those bigger washes where there's no bank protection, 500 feet may be the norm. And again, that's really to protect the private properties from losing their investments.
It has to be a perfect storm in order for a monsoon to happen. And I don't think those perfect storms are happening as quickly as they used to. So the heat is oppressive. And another thing, because we're a heat island, you don't get the relief of coolness after a monsoon rain. So it's sticky and muggy and hot, and so you don't get to go outside and say, oh, this feels great, because it really doesn't.
And do you remember back then it being cooler and feeling that coolness after?
Oh yeah, going out after a monsoon in the evening was delightful. Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
Not so much anymore.
Hey there, Tucson. I'm Erica Frizzell with the Tucson Department of Transportation and Mobility. Our crews are busy preparing to kick off our annual Operation Splash program that begins in June and runs through September during monsoon season. Protecting the traveling public on city streets is the objective of Operation Splash. Maintenance crews start by clearing brush, debris, and trash from the hundreds of washes that wind our city. Other staff prep barricades that warn the traveling public of flooded roadways. Over 500 barricades are delivered to about 150 dip crossings throughout the city. Staff is on standby 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during the monsoon season to protect you. And to further protect our community, the department assists property owners with free sandbags. Our goal year-round is the safety of the traveling public. But during the summer monsoon season, we ask that you do your part. If you see a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown, and be safe, Tucson.
Throughout the year, paramedic for Golden Ranch Fire Dominic Rhodes trains for a very real situation: swift water rescues.
It's, high stress situation. We make sure that everybody's on the same page and communicating.
That communication,
I'll just take it from the truck,
starts months before monsoon during training. Not just with his own district, but with Tucson and Northwest fire departments.
We all just make sure that when we are at those types of trainings that we are on the same page.
Those trainings take place at the Salt River in the Phoenix area. It's there where they focus on filling up their boat quickly.
We usually have a rope system that goes along with it. We also have our swift water vests, our oars to help maneuver that, and just a variety of helmets and different throw bags in case we can just throw a rope line to somebody that's stranded and have them hold on to it.
But if the county shuts down roads, rescuing those people can be harder.
We like to, prepare and make sure that we're readily accessible and how to access those areas.
Getting to those areas also starts with checking the water's speed.
It may not look like it's moving very fast at the top, but it could be moving very fast underneath.
That's why Rhodes and his crew make sure they're communicating with whoever they're rescuing.
Just making sure that they understand what your actions are. It's a lot of yelling out to them at first and making sure that they know not to jump out at you.
And just like the water, they're making sure their rescue is swift too.
We all have the same goal in mind, which is to help the public and save whoever we need to.
Reporting in Oro Valley, Andrew Christensen, KGUN 9 on your side.
Now, it may not look like it anymore, but nearly 3 years ago, much of the Santa Catalina Mountains, including right here at Catalina State Park, were ravaged by the 8th largest wildfire in Arizona history.
So that evening, June 20th, or June 5th, 2020, there was a lot going on in Tucson.
The COVID-19 pandemic had just begun, followed by lockdowns, and Tucson was experiencing an early arrival of monsoon season.
I was up in the Tucson mountains, and that evening the storms were coming from the south, headed north.
Among those storms was the catalyst for one of Arizona's largest wildfires in history. Storm chaser Donna Ruthroff happened to capture the photo that ignited the blaze.
I was there specifically taking photos of the storm and watching for lightning strikes.
Ruthroff, who had been chasing storms for about a year, unknowingly photographed the lightning strike that sparked the Bighorn Fire.
Initially, I did not know that strike was the one that started the fire. It wasn't until I went back and started comparing photos.
The fire began from that lightning strike on June 5th, 2020, and blazed for over 6 weeks, consuming more than 119,000 acres.
It's going to take a significant amount of time for that to recover.
Steve Miranda, a fire staff officer with the Coronado National Forest, explains that nearly 3 years after the fire was contained on July 23rd, the impact will be felt for generations.
Potentially 75 to 100 years to start seeing some change in there. The largest was the amount of impact to the timber, the forest up on top of the mountain.
While vegetation took the brunt of the Bighorn Fire's impact, Miranda notes that most wildlife in the area has returned.
There were some impacts with wildlife, but that quickly changed.
Reports from the National Interagency Coordination Center estimate the fire's damages at over $44 million. Surprisingly, there were only 7 non-fatal injuries reported and no structures were damaged.
So all this area was protected by firefighters.
Miranda emphasizes that applying the lessons learned from the Bighorn Fire is critical to prevent such a massive blaze in the future.
We need to continue to do prescribed burning, probably do more prescribed burning into the future. That will create some smoke impacts for communities in the short term, but it'll help alleviate the potential of having another Bighorn Fire again.
As for the photographer who captured the pivotal image, she admits it's not one of her favorite storm shots.
It's the only photo people want to see from that night, and it's a terrible photo.
Despite the blurry image, she recognizes the significance of documenting the power of Mother Nature.
But hey, it documents the start of a very important event, and We are just so thankful that there was no structures burned and no people were fatally injured in that fire.
Reporting from Catalina State Park, Kenny Dar, KGUN 9, on your side.
One of southern Arizona's most beautiful hiking areas is also one of its most dangerous, especially during and after rainstorms. We're at Tanque Verde Falls to remember those who lost their lives here, including a beloved U of A student.
I remember the day he was born like it was yesterday. He was my baby brother, my only sibling.
He was the best. He always had a big smile on his face. He was sort of a tall guy, super handsome. Everyone liked him. Everybody looked up to him.
He had a really huge heart that was even much bigger than we ever knew. We received so many letters and heard stories from people in person about what a good person he was and what a strong character he had.
2 days shy of his 22nd birthday, U of A student Anton Bakker went hiking with friends.
We drove up to Tanque Verde Falls. There was another mutual friend who had a dog, a black lab. The dog had jumped in the water, and Anton didn't think twice, jumped in the water to save the dog. We were unable to get to him, couldn't save him, couldn't get him out. He went over the fall, and it was just really hard on everybody. Everyone was in shock.
More than a dozen of the man's friends stand vigil alongside rescue crews on the ground and in the air.
Days later, a search party found Anton's body downstream.
Actually quite well preserved because he had been in cold water. He had deep gashes in his head, and most of his clothes had been torn off. I was really, really grateful because I was able to say goodbye to him, and I was able to kiss him and hold him one last time, which the search and rescue people had told us that might never happen. I'm incredibly proud of him. That he would risk his life to save an animal, even though it took his life from us. That's the kind of person that he was.
The creek was surging during a rainy week.
The 80-foot falls continue to run as heavily this morning as they did yesterday afternoon.
As usual, this area does take its victims every now and then. The rocks are slick, it's polished granite up above the falls, and once people fall into the water, they have a hard time getting back out.
I guess we should have known better, but I'd never been there before. I didn't know what we were getting ourselves into.
I feel extreme anxiety that I never felt before, especially next to rushing water and waterfalls.
Yet Anton's friends and family continued to hike and spend time outdoors, especially around his birthday, to honor him and what he loved to do.
It's so much greater and bigger than ourselves, despite the fact that he was taken by forces of nature. We all continue to really worship, the outdoors and Mother Nature, but with a healthy sense of safety.
They hope Tucsonans will carry that too, to avoid another tragedy like this.
Always, hike in a buddy system, have an exit plan, just be respectful and safe of Mother Nature.
At Tanque Verde Falls, Ryan Fish, KGUN 9 on your side.
Hey there, Tucson. I'm Frizzell with the Tucson Department of Transportation and Mobility. Our crews are busy preparing to kick off our annual Operation Splash program that begins in June and runs through September during monsoon season. Protecting the traveling public on city streets is the objective of Operation Splash.
Maintenance crews start by clearing brush, debris, and trash from the hundreds of washes that wind our city. Other staff prep barricades that warn the traveling public of flooded roadways. Over 500 barricades are delivered to about 150 dip crossings throughout the city. Staff is on standby 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during the monsoon season to protect you. And to further protect our community, the department assists property owners with free sandbags.
Our goal year-round is the safety of the traveling public. But during the summer monsoon season, we ask that you do your part. If you see a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown, and be safe, Tucson.
Cochise County residents have survived many historic fires, including of the state's largest wildfires. 1977 Carr Canyon Fire, 4,000 acres. 1994 Rattlesnake Fire. It scorched the peak of the Chiricahua Peak in Douglas, 25,000 acres. 2011 Horseshoe 2 Fire, close to 223,000 acres. The same year, the Monument Fire, 30,000 acres. The human-caused fire burned through Miller Peak Wilderness in the Huachuca Mountains and into Sierra Vista. Then, that's where training for all Cochise County fire districts comes in. Preparedness is key.
We do trainings with the crews throughout the year because wildfire season is, we feel, is year-round. We do have a wildland season, but that season pretty much runs 12 months out of the year. So we can get a fire at any time.
Fires are known for being unpredictable, which is why Cochise County firefighters prepare for wildfires all year, in and out of state.
Smoking's bad for a lot of reasons, and one of them is that you can throw your lit cigarette out and start the grass on fire, and like I said, it could be conditions such that, you know, that one cigarette can turn into a large, devastating fires.
Their training includes online and classroom learning, a 3-mile walk with 45 pounds of gear, and executing different scenarios. This year, the local districts utilized a digital projector from Santa Cruz County that let them use images of locations in the county to see how a fire may move in local landscapes.
Training here definitely gets us back into that mindset of, okay, it's wildland season. You know, we're not going to be home. We're not going to see our families as much. We're going to be out.
Fire crews have been sent all over the state and country to help fight wildfires. Short and Sailor say they have been to California multiple times to provide extra support to the largest fires there. Fire season falls at different times throughout the country, which allows local firefighters to travel and help other areas. Pickett, Short, and Sailor agree the hands-on experience from fighting fires is the best type of training they can receive.
How long can we stay committed to a structure before we have to go? How fast do we need to walk? How fast do we need to get this job done before the fire reaches us?
Short said the goal is always to save as many people, animals, and buildings as possible, but that may require the help of people in the area. Cochise County residents are encouraged to download the Alerts app so they get notifications of any evacuations, and they should also have go bags ready for everyone in their house, including their pets. In Cochise County, Alexis Ramanjulu, KGUN 9 on your side.
Out here in the fields outside of Marana, the wind can really kick up, and during monsoon, that means the threat of dust storms.
Started farming here in Marana and up in Eloy in 1987.
Arnoldo Burrell knows these open fields are prone to walls of blowing dust, especially during monsoon.
The harsh winds are hard on the crops. We don't like to see that.
But he says dust storms are a much bigger threat to people, a threat that grows as Marana grows.
And the wind is blowing hard, especially like a lot of the ground that I farm, which is in close proximity to roads, to I-10, things of that nature. We shut down. We shut down production. And sometimes those winds may last for days or a week. You don't want to exacerbate the situation by having the dust of your cultivation practices going across the road, being a potential hazard to drivers.
That's especially true here between Tucson and Phoenix.
The city really, covers up a lot of the loose soil, where here, there's almost nothing to cover up that loose soil and all the dust that's been sitting on top of it.
Along this 10-mile stretch of I-10 between Eloy and Picacho Peak, ADOT invested $6.5 million in this dust detection and warning system that debuted in 2020. Monsoon is peak season for dust storms, but the system operates year-round.
We've had anywhere from about 10 to 18 activations per year in the 3 years that this has been operating. We have 13 visibility sensors, and when they detect that the dust is reducing visibility, the system will automatically lower the speed limit and put up safety messages on the overhead message boards.
Speed limits can drop from 75 to as low as 35 during dust storms.
We know that the system is working as designed because we have sensors in the roadway. Traffic does actually slow down, so vehicles can pass through this area more safely.
Though ADOT's advice for drivers caught in a dust storm is to stop driving, pull over and turn off the ignition and brake lights so other cars don't drive into you. Just like drivers on the road, Burrell says farmers need to be patient when Arizona's weather gets wild.
We'll just take what Mother Nature throws at us. We always do.
In Marana, Ryan Fish, KGUN 9 on your side.
Hidden underneath these tree canopies and behind modern neighborhood fences is the Midway Village neighborhood, a close-knit community.
Wow, the favorite thing. I think it's the people.
For the last 3 years, Ann Moynihan has called this neighborhood home.
Very close to so many things I go to.
But she's lived in Tucson for over 40 years, so each summer she knows what the billowing dark clouds and gusty winds signal.
Usually it's very intense. Flooding's going to happen during monsoon. It happens within a short period of time typically, and the amount of water is larger than other times.
It's a phenomenon that Arizonans know all too well. Monsoon, with flash floods filling up the streets with water. And in this Midway Village neighborhood, the street is slightly inverted, so all the water pools in the middle. And that's because this street is awash.
Central streets, primarily Desert Avenue, which is actually the designated Midway wash.
The community learned how to navigate the flooded streets.
If flooding's going to happen during monsoon, it happens within a short period of time typically, and the amount of water is larger than other times.
I walked through the neighborhood with Moynihan.
Storm, then basically the street is full of water.
We started down Desert Avenue and she showed me firsthand how the water flows through the wash.
It brings a lot of pollutants and trash as well.
As the Neighborhood Association president, her goal is to put more plants and basins to help collect the flowing water.
Tucson Clean and Beautiful is working with us on a lovely garden space. Then there may be more opportunity up there to create the basins that we may not have on our streets.
She says the location of the neighborhood puts them into the FEMA floodplain.
As a neighborhood, having to send about $40,000 annually to the National Flood Insurance Program.
Because once these streets flood, she told me the water doesn't stop here.
We can potentially help the Downstream Neighborhood Association Garden District.
The Garden District, another bustling Tucson neighborhood.
People don't realize that it doesn't matter if it's raining here, it matters what's happening wherever the wash is starting or the canal is starting.
There, that water impacts a Tucson staple, Zena's Mediterranean restaurant.
It's the worst flood I've ever seen within the city that's not in an actual wash. It can actually reach up to the restaurant, probably about half your body, about 4 feet deep almost, coming right out of the wash. But as it goes down in here, it's probably about 3 feet deep.
The family-owned joint has been around for nearly 2 decades.
We have a lot of regulars who we love, and we owe it a lot to them for supporting us during the pandemics.
To help people enjoy the Zena's experience through monsoon, the manager Heather Smith showed me what the owners built to bring people safely over the water.
So this bridge, yeah, the owner had to build this bridge here.
A bridge.
When the wash is full and the parking lot is filled, we don't have an area where the customers can walk across it to get into the restaurant, other than this bridge that the owner built.
The rushing water becomes filled with debris and litter.
So there's a lot of things that we do find in the wash other than mattresses or carts. We find bags of drugs sometimes. I've seen needles in the wash.
Smith says they've been working with the local neighborhood associations like Garden District and Midway Village.
See if there's something that we can do and bring to the city and see what options that they can give us.
As Smith gears up for upcoming monsoon, she shared her solutions.
Building some type of canal to divert it to the sewer system, or maybe even creating a wash here and creating a bridge to go over it.
Over in Midway Village, Moynihan hopes their projects will help.
At least utilize some of the waters that's coming through and also help reduce pollutants if we can get some of these local features with vegetation.
And Smith hopes they soon harness the rainwaters, allowing people to enjoy the food at Zena's.
Once we go to the city, I would like it that they work with us on it and we can pursue a solution.
Tina Giuliano, KGUN 9 on your side.
Being responsible in what you're doing. If you're out, that's us.
In the middle of our interview,
that's us.
And with no hesitation, Northwest firefighter Beth Long gets ready to go on a call by putting on her gear.
It's a lighter weight, it's more breathable.
It's not as heavy as the 80-pound gear she puts on for a building fire.
Because you're generally doing longer stints of physical activity outside.
And it doesn't require her to wear a mask. On the ride over, Long is feeling a rush.
We're obviously there because something bad is going on, but we all go in with confidence in our abilities.
Because she's trained to battle wildfires. They train for it every year. A lot of fires start during monsoon. She says it's because of careless people or weather.
Lightning is a big one. It's touching down far more frequently. Wildfires combined with the monsoons burn off that vegetation and loosen up that soil, so then you have to consider mudslides.
That's why one thing they always keep in mind is each other.
So when we do get on those scenes, there isn't fear, and we can just jump into action and deal with whatever's thrown our way.
At Boulder Ranch Fire Station 370, Captain Colin Port says one of the toughest parts of the job is the schedule.
We're talking about 2 weeks at a time, working 16-hour days. That begins to wear on you.
To stay in shape, firefighters have to take a physical ability test every year. And no matter the season, preparing takes all year long.
We look at seasonal forecasts, and we start that early. We start that back in January.
And since fires can be similar, preparing starts with looking at other fires, because some can last 15 minutes, but others like the Bighorn Fire can last a month.
We've had fires where initial attack resources have worked up to 30 hours without getting a break.
So that's why they rely on their fellow firefighters. But they also count on the community.
If there is a wildfire and you're requested to evacuate, that's probably in the best interest for your safety.
Reporting in Oro Valley, Andrew Christensen, KGUN 9 on your side.
Well, the first thing I want to say is there's really only two safe places to be if there's a thunderstorm nearby. And that is a modern building that has electrical wiring and plumbing, or a metal roofed car.
We know that the system is working as designed because we have sensors in the roadway. Traffic does actually slow down so vehicles can pass through this area more safely.
You go up to Seven Falls, that's 7 crossings, that's 7 areas, and that's a tight canyon that you could get stuck on.
We're obviously there because something bad is going on, but we all go in with confidence in our abilities.
We need to continue to do prescribed burning, probably do more prescribed burning into the future. That will create some smoke impacts for communities in the short term, but it'll help alleviate the potential of having another Bighorn Fire.
Hey there, Tucson. I'm Erica Frizzell with the Tucson Department of Transportation and Mobility. Our crews are busy preparing to kick off our annual Operation Splash program that begins in June and runs through September during monsoon season. Protecting the traveling public on city streets is the objective of Operation Splash.
Maintenance crews start by clearing brush, debris, and trash from the hundreds of washes that wind our city. Other staff prep barricades that warn the traveling public of flooded roadways. Over 500 barricades are delivered to about 150 dip crossings throughout the city. Staff is on standby 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during the monsoon season to protect you. And to further protect our community, the department assists property owners with free sandbags.
Our goal year-round is the safety of the traveling public. But during the summer monsoon season, we ask that you do your part. If you see a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown, and be safe, Tucson.
If there's one thing that Arizonans know, there's hundreds of spots to enjoy the outdoors, from kayaking and climbing to hiking.
Anywhere I can get away and then just throw a hammock up in the trees and relax.
Something that Masumi Hirota, a hiker, a runner, and a lover of the outdoors, knows all too well.
I'll do the whole Bear Canyon loop or go through deep into the Catalina Mountains and use Sabino Canyon as a portal to get to all those places.
For him, the outdoors is vast, a collection of different trails and canyons that help calm the mind.
I think people usually think about the physical side of it, but I think it's the mental benefits that you reap from it. So I think the Tucson climate, in reality, is pretty mild. We don't have hurricanes here. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have tornadoes.
During the summer, he says it's even better.
You feel relaxed and you feel at peace. I think when you add that extra layer of heat, it adds that tenfold.
Sabino Canyon is one of his staple spots. He organizes group runs with the community through his site, Sabino Canyon Hike and Run.
Most of it's been running recently, but we do hikes. It might be a full moon hike up Blackett's.
Here, Sabino Canyon covers thousands of acres of wilderness. And like many other spots in Arizona, it has deep canyons and steep hiking trails. So during monsoon, it makes it the perfect spot for a flash flood.
But I look up into the sky, I look over Mount Lemmon. I don't just look over what's over Sabino Canyon or any of these lower ranges here.
Because once monsoon rains start, the water has to go somewhere, pooling in canyons or washes in a flash.
But if you go up to Seven Falls, that's 7 crossings, that's 7 areas, and that's a tight canyon that you could get stuck on.
Throughout his adventures, he hasn't been stuck in monsoon.
I'm always very cautious. Every morning I get up and I look. I check the hour by hour. I look to see what's above me in the mountains.
But he's seen others become stranded.
And I see it every year. I mean, last year there were countless. They had the fire department out here sending ladders and had people walk over the ladders to get across.
That's where first responders like the Southern Arizona Rescue Association come into play.
We also have lots of swift water rescues.
And I don't know if you copied, but I'm going to be just up trail.
I went along with the team during a call coming from the foothills on Finger Rock Trail to see how volunteers worked with firefighters and EMTs to airlift a person from the canyon.
And the Sheriff's Department will request Sarah, our Southern Arizona Rescue Association, to come out and assist them on a search or rescue call.
And when monsoon comes into full force, Amy McPherson, one of the Sarah rescuers, has seen many of those favorite outdoor spots become dangerous.
Monsoon comes in either where they are at or upstream, like on top of Mount Lemmon. That monsoon rain comes down and just causes a wave of flash flood water to come.
She says crossing Zero at Bear Canyon going to Seven Falls is one of the most common spots for a rescue.
And then when the monsoon hits, that bridge can be impossible to pass.
So the rule of thumb, she says, pay attention to the sky.
Turn around, don't drown applies not just to drivers, but to hikers as well.
And Hirota says to bring enough water, whether there's rain or not.
Once you start to run out half the water on your trip out, start to head back.
Because the hiking trail or rock climbing route will be there when you come back.
Rather than taking the chance, you can always come back here another day.
Reporting in the great outdoors, Tina Giuliano, KGUN 9 on your side.
When nature strikes, one woman is usually within striking distance, camera in hand, and ready to document nature's wrath.
Anything outside having to do with outdoors, I love to shoot the landscape. I love shooting astrophotography.
Grace Bailey says she always had a love for photography, but it wasn't until the early 2000s when she would invest in her first camera.
You know, a Canon Rebel or whatever it was. And I started taking pictures of the kids, but then I started to realize that it took really great pictures. These new digital cameras, even in 2003, would take great photos.
The rest, she says, is history.
The dogs and the wildlife and watching coyotes run in the desert, and it just took off from there.
The West Texas native turned Tucsonian captures everything from weddings to graduation.
Pretty much if I can point my camera at it, I want to shoot it.
She even spends a few weeks storm chasing in the Midwest every year. But it's Tucson's monsoon season that gets this mother of three's adrenaline pumping.
It was just something else, finally, to experience the monsoon for yourself, especially if you've ever had any kind of passion for weather.
Since turning her hobby into a passion, Bailey says she's learned a lot about the art of storm chasing.
When I first started, I was just trying to take pictures, and I would just push the shutter button over and over, hoping to get a shot of lightning. Setup is so important.
The storm chaser says it's all about patience and being in the right place at the right time.
Capturing a bolt striking the mountain peak, it just involves a little bit of patience. Obviously, it took me 6 years to get that shot.
The photo that took 6 years to capture is this one.
Shot just right over there.
A breathtaking lightning bolt striking the top of Elephant's Peak. While her passion comes with its risk, Bailey says she goes through every precaution before chasing her next $1 million shot.
Well, I got struck by lightning in 2001.
Through her relentless pursuit, she's captured dozens of breathtaking photos, something she takes great pride in.
You want your work to be shared and to have that seen by so many others and to be recognized after all of that hard work that goes into really trying to not just capture a normal shot, but to capture and bring home something extraordinary.
Bailey encourages every other aspiring storm chaser to get out there and document their own stories through the power of photography.
If you have just a cell phone, start taking pictures. Don't wait to try to upgrade your equipment to start enjoying these beautiful skies.
While experts are predicting an average monsoon season for 2023,
an average monsoon for Tucson is still a great monsoon.
Bailey is eager to spend the time outdoors, capturing the essence of Mother Nature and the beauty of Tucson.
Can you imagine just envisioning all of the potential with saguaros and the coyotes and all of the beauty that the Sonoran Desert provides, and then put a huge bolt of lightning on top of it all? It goes without saying.
Reporting from Madera Canyon, Kenny Dar, KGUN 9, on your side.
So now is the moment everyone's waiting for. What is our outlook for monsoon 2023? But before we get to the outlook, there's a few factors we got to look at, and we're going to take a look at the drought conditions right now.
So that's one of the many factors that we look at when it comes to our current monsoon, impending monsoon, and what's headed our way. Drought-wise, actually not that bad as of right now. It could be a lot worse. You're seeing it's dry, but we're in a desert after all. Could be a lot worse, but El Nino might actually play into that, and that goes into one of our other factors when it comes to that warmer temperature and how El Nino works. So Cuyler, tell us a little bit about the precipitation deficit.
Yeah, and over the last year, we had a really good monsoon last year. We've had a pretty decent winter, but now we're starting to dry out a little bit. And the precipitation deficit over the last year does show that in the mountain areas, we're running a little dry. So what this all means is to have one of the elements of a productive monsoon, you got to have some moisture in the soil already. We've got a decent amount. We're in better shape this year than we were last year, but we'll kind of see. We've been dry here lately. So the next thing we look at
is of course our El Nino. Yeah, it's a tropical outlook, and so that's one of the factors that we look at every year. Are we in a La Nina? Are we in an El Nino? And then what does that pattern mean? So here's sort of an explanation for you when it comes to that warm water temperature. What does that do for us, Cuyler?
Well, April, generally, if you go back through history, when we have an El Nino during monsoon, it means that the Atlantic and the Gulf are a little bit quieter. However, it also means that the Eastern Pacific, we have more frequent storms throughout the Eastern Pacific, which that could result in maybe a few more storms making their way into southern Arizona.
Yeah, so it could be active, but it also might be a delayed start. Sometimes it actually makes monsoon drier altogether and we have a less active monsoon, but it can also mean that we'll have more winter storms. So it may just be delayed a little bit, or it may come in later on in the year. So as of right now, we are expecting more frequent tropical storms, and sometimes we can pull on that moisture from the tropics as well, whether it be during monsoon or a little bit later in the year. So that's another factor that we're looking at. Next, we also take a look at, of course, the long range model prediction. So that's something that we take a look at that's happened up to now and what we're expecting. So precipitation outlook, obviously right there, Cuyler, you can see a little bit below average is the overall for the next 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the 90-day outlook. So it does show a chance that we'll see below average precipitation across much of eastern and southeastern Arizona. And April, as far as the temperatures go, generally when it's dry,
Same thing, right? Yeah, I don't think anybody's surprised by that. We're going to see probably above average temperatures as we typically do. So when you combine all of that, the below average dryness, the above average temperature, most likely to see a delay reaction to our monsoon forecast, then that kind of equates to what, Cuyler? Kind of a 50-50 prediction, right?
Yeah, exactly. So here it goes. We're going to unveil our prediction. This is the official forecast we're going for. Average. Yeah, and that would amount to 5.69 inches of rainfall at Tucson International Airport, which of course is the official reporting station. Now remember, last year we had a good monsoon, but remember all those storms kept missing the airport, so it indicated a little bit below average, but most of us were above average.
Yeah.
So
and we could see the same thing. Of course, we have to go with that official reading at the airport, but right now, 50-50 shot. We'll see what happens.
Keep our fingers crossed.